Get used to it. Make sure my mic is here.
Oh shit.
Get my backdrop.
I'm all off, nigga. This day back is nuts.
Man, nigga.
You know. Look at the background. You ain't
that's what I'm saying, nigga. That's what I said, nigga. Get my background cracking. You know, my shit gotta have too much game. Shout out to CJ and shit, but disrespectful motherfuckers, ain't they?
That shit happened before the show.
Man. Even though a nigga would have had to just ad-lib that shit. That's the type of show we gonna have, nigga. All gas, no brakes, nigga. We burning rubber out this motherfucker, nigga. We coming in hot, nigga. We starting this motherfucker with that vroom vroom on the motherfucker.
Hilarious. Okay, let me see.
God damn, nigga, what the fuck that nigga do? Run somebody over here, all them fucking sirens and shit. That's how you know we podcasting in the goddamn trap, nigga. We got the fucking sound effects of the ghetto.
Trap.
It's going all the way down out this motherfucker. Live from South Central Los Scandalous.
That's just
Nigga, oh God. Or South Central Boss Scandalous, motherfucker. Shit.
Too much game in the bees at grease out.
Hell yeah, looking extra sexy out this motherfucker.
I'm not gonna say that part.
Yeah, I say it. Just me. No tanks. No thank you.
No thank you, sir. No thank you.
No thank you. No tanks, motherfucker. We is not talking no gay shit on this motherfucker. But man, yeah, you gotta see that shit.
Oh, yeah,
Have you seen the original movie Dolemite? Watch that first. I strongly suggest it.
The original?
It's not on Netflix, but if you can find that shit, if it's like on Fire Stick or something, watch Dolemite. It makes the movie that much more enjoyable. Okay. Because you can see the attention to detail that they paid in making the Netflix one.
Got it. And nigga Eddie Murphy's back, huh?
That nigga ain't never went nowhere, man.
I'm here to smack you niggas.
Man, the Eddie, like that shows the legend of Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
Like, nigga, that's how you know the difference between a motherfucker who's a real life beast and a fucking fluke. Like, everything that nigga touched, nigga, he got the Midas touch. That nigga Eddie Murphy is one of the GOATs, my nigga.
Midas touch.
Nigga, earn not given. But you ready to start the show? I'm ready. Motherfuckers is in here and alive. What's up, Dorian? Nigga, what's up, J Flash? What's going on with everybody that's in this motherfucker? This finna be a whole different show. This ain't cat versus dog, nigga. I ain't talking about sucking dicks and titties and all that type of shit, nigga. Nigga, this all game right here, my nigga. This life-changing shit right here. Nigga, I'm here to wake the motherfucking people up, nigga. Shout out to Dawson from Street Fighter for all my gamers.
Yo got flame.
Hell yeah, nigga. But yeah, that nigga Eddie Murphy beasted, nigga. But the crazy shit, nigga, to me personally, the funniest motherfucker in the movie was Wesley Snipes. Like, that nigga, he picked the right cast for that movie. Like, that shit, that's my favorite movie of the year for sure, hands down. And not even being biased on some my name is on the movie type shit, but it was a dope ass movie. It was inspirational, my nigga. I damn near cried watching that shit.
Yeah, Nikki F told me she did too.
Cried?
Yeah, she said it was inspirational.
Nigga, like that movie, like that shit right there is like I respect Rudy Ray Moore way more after watching that shit. I already had great respect for Rudy Ray Moore. That's why I I ain't named myself. The name was given to me. Mm-hmm. But the reason I accepted the name and carried the name even throughout the rumor that Rudy Ray Moore was gay is because, like, you just got to see the fucking movie. It explained a lot. Like how CJ was like, I understand you a lot more after seeing that movie. Mm-hmm. Because, nigga, a lot of the reason that I carry the name Yung Dolemite is because, like, you just got to see the movie. Like, and just go, like, just when you fucking around. YouTube Rudy Ray Moore, Yung Dolemite, like in the iTunes music store. So you could hear him tell the story of Dolemite. Like, that's a lot of why I carry the name. Because Dolemite is basically the embodiment of a bad motherfucker. So.
Yeah, I'm most definitely going to check it out.
Yeah, we gonna talk about that shit on there. So y'all in the live, after the beat drop, I'm gonna probably say a lot of this same shit. So no, I didn't forget. I said it and said it again. I'm saying it because right now this ain't content that's being recorded. This is just exclusive shit for the niggas who on my Facebook friend list who in the live. But after the beat drop, that's when it's gonna be recorded and all that good shit. So right now I'm literally just freestyling, fucking around for the sake of entertaining y'all niggas until I actually start the show.
And I'm ready. You ready?
Hell yeah.
Let's go.
I wish they could hear the beat. And then there was bass. Good evening, motherfuckers and motherfuckers. This is your host, Yung Dolemite of the Too Much Game podcast. Sitting here with the super producer, Ben Ready.
Yes, sir.
How have your 2 weeks been? Ben Ready?
My vacation was lovely. It was very lovely.
Top Flow Joe in the motherfucking building.
I never felt like that in Vegas. You know what I mean? And I didn't want to come back. I'm like, yo, I need another week out here. But overall, man, it was much needed. I had to reset. I didn't know it was gonna be this much of a reset.
Yeah.
But
things change.
The Operation Reset is officially here, and I'm feeling good, man. Got a bunch of good things coming, and it's still house game.
Yeah, the only thing constant in life is change.
It's change. How about yourself? How you been, man?
Cool. Got some phenomenal news over the last couple of days. I actually have a schedule now. So I'll be able to tell people when I go into work, when I get off of work, what days I won't have to go to work. And the peace of mind in that is fucking priceless.
Hell yeah.
Because it's a pay cut. I'm gonna lose some probably hundreds of dollars a week. But the peace of mind of knowing when I'm going in and when I'm getting off and being able to actually make plans, that shit is fantastic, my nigga. Like it's worth the monetary loss that I'm gonna take. Like it is what it is. I ain't even mad at the shit. I'm honestly excited. So, that's a motherfucking beautiful thing. The title of this motherfucking episode is Dolemite Is My Name 2. I saw the movie Dolemite. Dolemite Is My Name, starring Eddie Murphy. Fucking fantastic movie. And this ain't even the bias of the movie having my name in it. It's just like the storyline in that fucking movie, like the grind that Rudy Ray Moore had in order for that movie to come about is fucking amazing. Like, Dolemite had already been one of my favorite movies growing up because when you watch the movie Dolemite, it's not like a cinematic masterpiece. It's not a great fucking storyline. Like, the movie is literally like mediocre, but it's so like comedic genius that everybody who see the shit love the fucking movie. Like, when I first seen Dolemite, it was like, you don't get it, but something about that movie, niggas get it. Like, you watch the movie and it's just parts of the movie where it's just like, have you ever seen Black Dynamite?
Yes.
It's like that. Like
black exploitation.
Yeah, but you gotta see Dolemite to understand a lot of the jokes in Black Dynamite. Because, like, if you see Black Dynamite, like, you see, like, the parts where you can still see the microphone and shit. Most blaxploitation movies wasn't like that. It was Dolemite where he got that from. Like, a lot of the elements in that movie that you might not recognize, because I was a big fan of blaxploitation films because, like, my dad and his friends, we watched those a lot. Like, my mom was into the ones with the strong female lead. So, like, my mom enjoyed, like, Coffee, Cleopatra Jones, Foxy Brown, and movies like that. Like, I watched those with my mom. But, like, my dad and them, like, we would watch, of course, Dolemite, Petey Wheatstraw, Three the Hard Way, Black Caesar, like movies like that. Like I watched a lot of blaxploitation movies growing up. Like we might be one of the last generations that could actually really fuck with shit like that because that was the shit our parents was raised on. Like my parents was kids when that shit came out. So like for me to watch that shit, it just was dope to see movies with fucking black heroes. Cause in the 80s all we really had was fucking what, Action Jackson.
Jeez. Action Jackson, is that it?
That's what I'm saying. It wasn't a lot of movies with like a black hero.
I'm Gonna Get You Sucker?
I'm Gonna Get You Sucker was like a spoof of the fucking blaxploitation films. Yeah, it was kind of like, it was like the precursor of Black Dynamite. It was kind of a spoof for the most part.
Yeah.
So when you think about blaxploitation films, it was like the black being cool, even though in essence blaxploitation films were something of like a backhanded compliment to the black community. Like white people put it out because they know that the black dollar, they knew back then that the black dollar was strong. So they was like, we gonna put these movies out for these niggas to enjoy because these niggas is gonna fill up these movie theaters if they see themselves on the screen. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the messages were somewhat powerful in, you know, the white man is evil, blah, blah, blah shit. But they made the white people so cartoony that it was unbelievable to the white people. So white people weren't even offended by niggas whooping white people's asses because the white people were like caricatures of negative stereotypes in the black community of white people. It was like some kill whitey, the white man is evil, and the white people was all like super cartoonish in, yeah, nigger, we're gonna kill you, nigger, and then the niggas will shoot them and you jumping up and down in the fucking stands. It's just like Django. Yeah. Like the reason everybody was a fan of Django, but I wasn't, is because I understand what they did with that shit. That's the reason I'm not a big fan of Quentin Tarantino. Because Quentin Tarantino has like the same type of views of black people. Like I don't like Quentin Tarantino because he always finds a way to drop an N-bomb in all his movies. Mm-hmm. Like he'll figure out how he could say nigger in a movie. And he think that shit is fucking fly. Like I don't really fuck with Quentin Tarantino because of that shit. Like he do little silly shit like that. Right. You know, he always got a little fucked up racist shit. He try to figure out ways to say little racist shit in movies. That's why I didn't really fuck with Django. All the white people in the Django movie was like the blaxploitation movies, caricatures of white people. Mm-hmm. You know, so I'm like, man, fuck all that. But I do understand the value of blaxploitation films because representation is important. It is important for little black kids to see black heroes in movies. And like with Dolemite, watching Dolemite, just me personally, like I saw a lot of myself in that shit. And that's the reason the name was given to me. Because the way Dolemite spoke in the movie, he used a lot of profanity. He used a lot of what would be perceived as unnecessary profanity in that movie. And, you know, any motherfucker who talk to me, no, they feel like I cuss too much. Like, nigga, you don't even gotta say motherfucker that much in a fucking sentence. All right. You know, but me, I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I use a lot of profanity. Deal with it, motherfucker. If you don't like it, fuck you. Go suck my dick. Bye, bitch. That's just how I speak. But if you could get past the profanity and the way that I talk, you understand that I know what the fuck I'm saying when I'm saying what the fuck I be saying. So it is what it is according to that. Like how I talk is how I talk. You know, I tell people all the time, like, black people have this stigma with the broken English that we use. But I think it's a fucking beautiful thing. Because a lot of what we say, like, no matter how we say this shit, it's always understood. And as much as motherfuckers like to talk down on how we speak, a lot of our slang gets used in corporate America to sell products to people. And not just black people. Facts. They using a lot of the fly shit that we say to sell shit to motherfuckers. They repackage a lot of the culture that we create and sell that shit to each other. A lot of the shit that we do, they clown and they call it ghetto until they figure out a way to monetize and sell it. So, like, a lot of the shit that I do this shit on purpose. A lot of how I talk, yes, I can speak in a manner that white people would find comfortable, but I don't give a fuck to do that shit. So I talk how I talk. You know, it just is what the fuck it is. So like a movie like Dolemite inspired me in watching a motherfucker do shit the same way I do shit, in the manner of a nigga just getting down how I get down and still being able to blow up off that shit. Because the thing about Dolemite is it's a story of fucking perseverance more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, like when you watch the trailer, right?
Yeah.
You know, like they was like, you know, you been a comedian, a shake dancer, a bartender. Like, nigga, I'm willing to do whatever the fuck I need to do to reach my fucking goal. Like, and I fuck with that shit 1000%. Especially a nigga like him, because he was born and raised in fucking Arkansas. You know, his daddy was a sharecropper. And I'm sure, you know, because in the movie, it was like a lot of the insults that he uses, I used to wonder why the fuck he said shit like that. Because he would call niggas, oh, you know, you rat soup eating, tie, wrinkle ass, insecure motherfucker.
Yeah, that nigga used to go hard.
And I'm like, rat soup eating? But he was talking about his father, because he was a sharecropper. And you know, down south, you eat what you can catch.
Mm-hmm.
If you can catch a rat, you'll eat the fucking rat. So when he say rat soup eating, he talking about his daddy. Insecure, he talking about his daddy. Tired, he a sharecropper, so he tired. Wrinkled ass motherfucker. Old man, wrinkled. So when he talking to a fucking white man talking about rat soup eating, tired, wrinkled ass, dirty motherfucker, you know, it don't register. Right. But when you watch the movie Dolemite Is My Name, it start to make sense. You know, so like just watching the movie, it's like, damn, I got a better understanding of the motherfucker who I've been running around carrying the name of. Because a lot of motherfuckers, when they seen the title of the movie, they like, damn, nigga, what the motherfuckers making a movie about you? Like, nah, nigga, Dolemite was way before me. Like, I picked this name up. And it ain't that I picked it up like, ooh, that's what I'm going to call myself. Nah, I was given the name by my high school teacher, Mr. White. Because he was like, you know, basically, I introduced the movie, not to him because he had saw the movie before, but we had like a thing in school where we would all bring in movies that we connected to. And we would show the shit, you know, and we called it like Broham Day, like the brothers in school. Like, you know, what's your favorite movie? You bring your favorite movie, you bring your favorite movie, and we going to talk about why that's your favorite movie and what about that movie you connect with. So I brought Dolemite in. And the teacher was like, I know why you like this shit, nigga. Because all you do is talk shit, fuck with bitches, and cuss a lot. And that kind of was, you know, me at 17 in high school. Yeah, that's what I was into. You know, hollering at bitches all day, using a lot of fucking profanity, talking shit. But the movie, I loved it just because it was so fucking quirky at the time to me. Like, if you watch the movie Dolemite, you could tell it's an independent film. And the thing about it is, it was so fucking before its time. Like, remember, you didn't start seeing independent films until what, like the early 2000s? Where it became kind of a normal thing to...
The indie and the IFC and all that.
Yeah, nigga, like, no, I mean, like, you ever seen 2 G's in the Key?
No, never. Oh, you talking about them type of joints? Like
yeah, nigga, like I'm Bout It.
Yeah.
Like them type of movies that you could tell it was made by hood niggas for hood niggas. Yeah. Like Dolemite was the original fucking independent film that you could tell was, oh, this nigga shot this movie with him and the homies. Because like you'll see like he'll shoot a nigga, bow, fall 5 minutes later, my nigga, like. The dialogue was fucking horrible. Nigga, the acting was terrible.
Right.
But niggas got it. Like, it was like, if I could compare it to something like the song Wanna Be a Baller, Shock, like how all the niggas was rapping off beat, but we love that shit.
Yeah.
Like
That's nuts.
it was like that type of shit. Like it's mediocre, but you connect to that shit. Because like one of my favorite movies, one of my favorite characters in the original Dolemite movie was Creeper. I wish they'd have put him in the movie, but I think it must have been some copyright shit when it came to it. Because if you look at the cover of the movie, in the movie, it wasn't the original cover of the Dolemite movie. Because the original cover of the Dolemite movie, the face is clearly Rudy Ray Moore. But in the cover that was in the movie Dolemite Is My Name, it wasn't super clear. So like I could tell like it was certain little copyright issues, even though like throughout the movie, like he would show pictures of, himself, and it wasn't Eddie Murphy. It was actually Rudy Ray Moore in the pictures.
Oh, okay.
So like a lot of the movie, it was like a lot of continuity issues and shit. But like at the same time, a lot of it was so accurate, and that's why I love the movie so much. Because a lot of what went on in that movie, as a fan of the original movie Dolemite and the character Dolemite and the man who was Rudy Ray Moore, a lot of that shit was super accurate to what actually happened. Like the backstory, and like when you watch them shooting the movie, like you can see characters mouthing what another character's saying, which is a lot of this shit is like big no-nos in film. But you could just tell none of these niggas been in movies before. But the thing about it that was dope was the representation in the fucking movie. And again, just going back to who Dolemite is as a character. It was a character created by winos. Because like, you know how like Rudy Ray Moore is like, way down in the jungle deep, the signifying line. And like that was like shit that junkies and winos and niggas in prison would do, like some like playing the dozens type shit. So it was kind of not a new thing in comedy, as far as like, they already had Red Fox and Richard Pryor doing raunchy comedy. But it was something that was introduced in, this is some shit that's some straight black shit, and we finna introduce this shit to a broader audience. So it just was a trip to see him take so little of shit and turn it into so much in a time where that shit was fucking unheard of. Like he was on the independent grind before that shit being fly. Like, right now, like, independent rappers is out here creating all type of record labels out of their house. Like we got Townhouse Media in the fucking trap, nigga. We in a house doing this shit.
Hello.
But nigga, that was back when you had to have a record label for you to break a record.
Right.
You had to be with a movie studio to put a fucking movie out. Like everything had to be something that you had a machine behind. This nigga did everything on his own, out of his own brain power, off his own talent, out of the team that he personally created. Not no bunch of rich motherfuckers behind him. Like this motherfucker made all his own moves. He did all his own fucking stunts. This motherfucker created this movie from scratch. Even the motherfuckers who he had help do this movie was motherfuckers from the community that, he cultivated. Like he didn't have some writer out of Hollywood, some white dude. He had some nigga who was doing plays in the neighborhood he lived in. Like most of the people who he had doing the music, one of his homeboys. The fashion was a motherfucker who he been fucking with. It was his core group of niggas. Like it would literally be like, if you did a movie, you was the star. I did voices. CJ was the lead female. Yeah. Mark was the fucking antagonist. Like it was some shit like that. Like it was all me and my niggas doing this shit. Yeah. He had the outside help where it was completely needed and necessary, but he was able to just make shit work. Like, even when the nigga would get discouraged, his homeboys would be like, nah, nigga, you got us this far. And it showed the importance of having a strong team of motherfuckers around you. Even though they not the type of team that you would expect to be the motherfuckers who would propel you, it was a group of niggas who all had love for each other and would push each other up. Right. Like it was it was just a beautiful fucking situation, and it was just a perfect storm of shit that turned into something that was literally fucking legendary, my nigga. Like a movie that a nigga that was born in Arkansas and moved to LA and was just over fucking broke was able to be some shit that me right now, like 40 fucking years later, is talking about from a fucking movie that was made by a legendary comedian from the 80s. Something that sparked the mind of a comedian that some people would consider to be the greatest of all time.
Right.
You know, because Dolemite wasn't like Rudy Ray Moore is this motherfucker who at the time people looked at as like, oh, Rudy Ray Moore the GOAT. Even though a lot of motherfuckers consider him to be the godfather of rap. Because Rudy Ray Moore was one of the originators of, you know, just rhyming and getting it cracking. He coined it.
And it was popping peas.
Exactly, nigga. You know, Dolemite is my name and fucking motherfuckers up is my game. Like, if you listen to the signifying line and all that shit, like, nigga, Dolemite was rapping. It was a beat going on in the background, and, you know, motherfuckers had the little and that nigga was getting cracking. That nigga was rhyming like a motherfucker.
It seemed like that movie is very similar to what's going on with us right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And Nikki F was telling me about it and how it seemed like it fits her as well is what she trying to do. Like, so it's very motivational. Like, me seeing it, just the previews, I thought it was just gonna be a comedy. I didn't know it was gonna be motivational and shit. So you know what I'm saying? So I'll probably watch it tonight before I go to sleep and sleep on it.
Yeah, cause nigga, like that's how the original Dolemite movie is. Like, you don't think it's like you don't even think they trying to be funny. Then you realize what they did there.
Right.
Because that's what it was. Like, even when he was shopping the movie, like in the film, when they show him trying to like sell the movie Dolemite to people, they're like, what the fuck is this shit?
Mm-hmm.
But when the people see it, they all love it. You know, they pack the theater out and they think this shit is the greatest shit going. Like, just the whole shit is like it's inspirational as a motherfucker. Because like I've said on many occasions, a lot of times I'm not inspired by people like Michael Jordan or like the greatest of the greatest. I'm inspired by regular people who were able to do great shit.
Right.
Like, I'm not inspired by Jay-Z. I'm inspired by Yung Jock. Like, cause if this nigga could do it, it ain't no fucking way in hell you gonna stop me from doing that shit.
Nigga said Yung Jock.
Like, nigga, how the fuck can you not be inspired listening to Blueface? If this nigga could get on,
yeah,
I know for a fact I could get on.
And stay on.
Exactly. That's what I mean, my nigga. So like, that's the power of a movie like Dolemite. Like, if this nigga could figure out how to put a movie out,
yeah,
and millions of people see this shit and love this shit, how the fuck can't I do it? Like, nigga, I tell nigga, you got to be inspired by a motherfucker with mediocre talent that can do great fucking things.
Yeah.
You know?
Because it sometimes it ain't even just the talent.
It's your grind.
It's the grind and the muscle you put into it. So like,
exactly.
We can sit and do podcasting all day, every week. But if we not putting that muscle, that hustle, and a little bit of cash flow into it, then we doing it for nothing.
Yeah.
It's just a hobby at that point.
Exactly.
If we trying to sock it to their pocket, we have to make the moves in order to get where we got to go. And you have to use all your resources and everything and get them up just like he did.
Yeah.
And you make that shit happen.
Exactly. Because the nigga went broke a couple times. Like, nigga. Like, and the thing is, it's like, nigga, after the movie was made, like, it was a scene where the dude, like, well, when the fuck are we gonna see it? He like, I don't know. Like, you know, nigga, I have no fucking clue. He like, why not? He like, cause won't nobody put the motherfucker out. And again, like, as much as he had this grind, it was people along his path that kept him motivated.
Right.
Because, you know, like I tell motherfuckers off wax with this show, a lot of this shit, I'm giving y'all a lot of inspiration and motivation and a lot of this shit, but I'm also giving it to myself.
Right.
Like, there's times where it might seem like, you know, I'm coming this motherfucker completely confident with these sunglasses on, talking that talk with this motherfucking voice and all that shit. But nigga, it's times when I get fucking discouraged. It's times when I'm sitting here like, man, these motherfucking numbers ain't doing what they supposed to do.
Right.
You know, motherfuckers, hey man, how the podcast doing? I'm like, shit.
Shit.
Motherfucker, you know, I'm doing it. I'm still speaking, motherfucker.
But see, that's the thing though, that when it comes to you and doing this podcast shit, you something different, and because the distance that you're coming to do it.
Oh yeah.
You're driving an hour plus.
Yeah.
To come out here to do the show, and like we was talking off air, or it probably was on live, but we talked about the shit that we talked about and have this agreement we have set up to push forward with this shit.
Yeah.
Because you can clearly do your own thing.
Yeah.
But you was real enough to be like, you know what, we got business to do.
Yeah, we build something.
You feel me? So it takes that drive and that dedication, and with anything you have to have a team with you.
Yeah.
Period. You know, and that's what made me venture out and be like, okay, I have an idea for this show. I need this type of show. And then you came to me with what we own now, Too Much Game, and with the No Rules. And, you know, it's a team effort. You know, it takes, no company is ran by one person.
Exactly. And that was like a powerful message in the movie. Again, like something that inspired me personally. Because I've always been a rugged individualist. Like, I've always believed, fuck a team, fuck a squad, nigga, I move by myself, I do my own shit, nigga, I make my own moves, I do my own stunts, fuck these niggas.
And you will crash and burn.
Exactly.
That's
like,
exactly what I did with the music.
Exactly, like they say, nigga, if you want to go far, go, or if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a fucking marathon, not a fucking sprint. If you a sprinter, you'll go fast, but that's a 100-yard dash. But life a fucking marathon.
Right.
So if you want to win the fucking marathon, nigga, you need a team, nigga. You need trainers, my nigga. You need motherfuckers who get the water for you. You need motherfuckers to push you. You need a motherfucking coach. You need somebody to help you do everything, my nigga. Like, you could do it with a small team, but all this, I'ma do this shit by myself, my nigga. Like, nah, nigga. Every motherfucker who ever did an acceptance speech outside of Snoop Dogg thanked other people.
Right.
And even with motherfucking Snoop Dogg, nigga, without Dr. Dre, we wouldn't know this nigga's name. He still be Calvin.
He'll still be Snooper Duper.
Exactly, my nigga. Like, without a fucking team, a lot of niggas wouldn't be who the fuck they are, my nigga. No NBA championship has been won by one player.
Nope.
You know, like, nobody does anything great alone. And that was a powerful message in that fucking movie. Nigga, he had his team. And again, it wasn't like he had the fucking super friends, the fucking Avengers. He had a nigga who worked at his job with him. You know, a nigga who played music in the band at the club he worked at. Another one of his homeboys, so we wasn't really exactly sure how he knew him. You know, a female he met out on the road performing. And the crazy shit is, my nigga, like, it was just so, again, like, perfect storm, my nigga, like, fortuitousness, you know, where preparation met opportunity. Another fucking part of that movie that was like, nigga, hit me like a ton of bricks, because he said that exact line in the fucking movie.
Mm-hmm.
Luck is where preparation meets opportunity. Everybody who listens to this show, any motherfucker who knows me know that's one of my favorite fucking quotes, because that shit real as fuck, my nigga. Like, ain't no fucking luck, my nigga. It's opportunity and preparation put together.
Right.
So when the motherfucker say you got lucky, it's because you was prepared when the opportunity presented itself. Like, that's such a fucking powerful goddamn statement. He said that shit in the movie. I was like, nigga, this movie is so fucking phenomenal, my nigga.
My tears start forming.
Exactly, my nigga. I'm like, thug tears, nigga. Like, nigga, I got misty-eyed a few times watching that shit.
Yeah.
Because, like, nigga, it's like watching my own 8 Mile that I wasn't in and shit. Because it's like, nigga, I done grinded so fucking hard, my nigga. Like, a lot of motherfuckers who know me, like, nigga, if you know what I came from to see where I'm at, it's like, nigga, And I'm just a truck driver. I ain't no fucking movie star, famous comedian, and none of that shit, my nigga. Like, I make most of my money driving trucks. But, nigga, just to see what the fuck I got from what the fuck I came from, my nigga, it's a fucking story, my nigga.
It's a beautiful thing.
Like, nigga, I've been homeless. I done said that shit a gang of times, my nigga. But it's like, you don't feel it unless you feel it. You know, unless you slept in the car, like, you don't really feel that shit. Like, my nigga, from sleeping in the car to being a fucking homeowner, my nigga, like, that shit different, my nigga. Like, motherfuckers look at shit like, you hear 1,000 rappers tell 1,000 sad stories. But unless you've actually gone through it, it's kind of like, oh, okay, for sure.
That shit
You know.
definitely hit different.
Yeah, like, you know, okay, nigga, I got a job too. Like, I tell my coworkers all the time, like, nigga, it's certain shit I appreciate different than y'all niggas. You know, y'all niggas have both of your parents in the house. Like, I've never used the term my parents. Unless I'm talking about these two motherfuckers, like, separately. Like, I've never been like, oh, I'm gonna go home, mom and dad home. Ain't no fucking mom and dad, nigga. Them motherfuckers wasn't together when I was born. Ain't no pictures of me and these two motherfuckers with, like, me little and them together hold me, like how you got the family picture. I ain't never had no shit like that, nigga. It was either me and her or me and him. Wasn't no fucking me and them. So I'm like, nigga, for me to be able to have a fucking family where me, my wife, and both my kids is in all the pictures, like, that's a lot. So, like, when I look at the movie Dolemite and see this motherfucker come from broke as a motherfucker working in a record store to being at a fucking movie premiere of a movie that he fucking created from scratch, is like, that shit was powerful as a motherfucker, especially a nigga from the hood in those times. Because, like, again, like, nigga, in these days, like, it's no fucking excuse for you to not be able to have some type of situation where you got an independent grind where you booming. Because you got the internet. You got access to so much information. You got access to so many people. I'm on fucking Instagram Live, Facebook Live, or whatever the fuck. Anybody has access to this shit that I'm putting out. As long as I could get the shit to them, anybody has access. But like with Dolemite, with a fucking movie, back when that shit was on film, nigga, you had to get in them fucking streets, nigga, and get grinding and shopping your shit and moving and getting yourself put in these rooms in front of all these people. That shit wasn't fucking easy. So to see a nigga do that shit back in them days, when motherfuckers still had to work the actual chitlin circuit that was named that outside openly, where that nigga was in clubs would be 40 people, sometimes 10 people, sometimes 20 people, and he had to perform like it was 10,000. Like, that nigga was on the fucking grind, my nigga. And it's like, to see a motherfucker do that in those days with the little resources that he had, and he turned into something that's gonna be known and spoke about forever, like, that shit powerful as fuck. Like, if that shit don't bring a tear to your eye, you ain't no real nigga. Like, nigga, I was like fighting back tears, my nigga. I'm sitting there with my wife, like, I don't be crying in movies, my nigga. So I'm like, yeah, that shit dope as well. Like, nigga, it was a few parts of that movie, nigga, had a nigga like, man. And then again, like, the nostalgia of the shit, being a fan of the movie Dolemite and the stories that was told by Dolemite. You know, they say motherfucking Willie Green was the toughest motherfucker you ever seen. Like, that shit, just watching that shit and remembering the movie, and like P.D. Wheatstraw, the devil's son-in-law. Like, nigga, Rudy Ray Moore was a cold motherfucker. You know, I thought Dolemite was just this character in the movie, which, you know, he tells you the origin story of the character Dolemite, which was created by a wino in a record store. Like, he didn't create the character Dolemite. The character Dolemite was created by winos. You know, them motherfuckers that tell these funny stories to entertain each other. And basically what he did was, that nigga went out there to where all the junkies and the winos was at, and he put the tape recorder on, and he gave them niggas money to tell their stories. You know, so in essence, a lot of the shit he took from them, and then he just threw his little twist on it.
That alone, to see talent in that from a wino, you never know where that shit come from. That's why being observant pays off. You know, talent ain't just having, you know, just sports, but there's also the mental side of talent.
Yeah.
And he was able to look at or hear the winos like, yo, this shit sound interesting.
Exactly. And nigga, what have I said 1,000 times on this show? I sit and talk to fucking homeless people.
Mm-hmm.
Like again, like shit like that. Like watching that fucking movie was like, man, that shit is literally like listening. It's like watching my life story almost.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't get to the degree that he got to where he was literally fucking famous, but just the grind, the origin story, just, you know, like this shit, I could relate to this shit a lot. Like when that nigga was sitting there with the homeless people, I'm like, dog, I done did that same shit. Like how I had said, like, nigga, I would literally like pay for conversation with homeless people.
Right.
Like when you watch that fucking movie, like, nigga, a lot of that shit, I'm like, man. But again, you got to see the original film, Dolemite.
I gotta watch that first and then check out the new joint.
Yeah, like, because a lot of it you really gonna understand when you watch Dolemite Is My Name. Because, like, it was a lot of shit I had to explain to my wife. She's like, why the fuck is she mouthing while he talking? And I'm like, you gotta see the movie. Like the part where he was fucking the white bitch and the fucking pictures was moving and the lights was flashing on and off and the ceiling caved in and like the bed was all up and like it was so over the top.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like niggas get it because it's funny as fuck. But like even the director of the movie's like, what the fuck is this shit? And then, you know, cut. And he like, that shit was fucking hilarious. Like even the director didn't get the humor in it because he like, this nigga's got to be the worst actor I've ever seen. Because it's like, if you see Rudy Ray Moore, he's a big ugly motherfucker, but he's a sex symbol in the movie.
Right.
You know, and it's like, remember how I was talking about Tyler Perry a couple episodes back on Cat vs. Dog? Like, how the fuck is you gonna be the sex symbol? But nigga, you could be the sex symbol when you created the shit.
Sure can.
Bitch, I'm sexy, motherfucker. Like how I said, nigga, off the mic. When I was talking about my picture, nigga, I'm a sexy motherfucker. I know you ain't got to confirm it, but I'm a sexy motherfucker because I said so. This is my goddamn show. Nigga, I'm Yung Dolemite, motherfucker. I'm a sexy ass nigga. So it's like when he put himself in the movie and he put himself in these scenarios, he doing karate. And they're like, nigga, this nigga don't even know karate. When you watch the movie, again, nigga, it's like, come on, dog. Like you watching the movie and it's so terrible, it's funny as fuck.
Yeah.
And that's like the charm of the movie. Like I think that's like the big draw. It's charming. Like you see the mediocrity in it, but you can also see like it's powerful, my nigga. Like it's hard to explain how the movie Dolemite is dope. You just have to see it. And then you'll understand how it is dope. Because if you watch it and you trying to watch it like you will watch Man on Fire or some shit, you'll be like, this shit is fucking stupid. But if you watch it with an open mind, you're going to be rolling. Because a lot of the movie is over the top, weird, crazy shit. But it's just funny as fuck, especially from the perspective of an African American from the inner city. Niggas, as I call us. Like niggas get Dolemite. Dolemite is the story of niggas. Like it's a story that niggas love. A lot of what rappers be talking about is the story of Dolemite. Because Dolemite, in essence, was what rappers aspire to be and brag about being. Because Dolemite was the baddest motherfucker in the world. Like that's basically the story of fucking Dolemite. Like, I wish I could justify a lot of the rhymes that he say in the movie. But I'm not even finna fucking fuck that shit up. I'm not gonna do that shit justice. As cold as I am with the mouthpiece, I'm not even finna try that shit. You gotta go see the fucking movie. But Dolemite is basically the story of a bad motherfucker. And I always pride myself on being a bad motherfucker. Like I tell niggas, I tell you stories that I did that's true. And you're going to realize I'm a bad motherfucker. That's the reason I carry the name Dolemite. Because Dolemite is the story of a bad motherfucker. The only thing that in my head as I'm watching the movie, I'm like, it's going to be a lot of fake ass Dolemites running around this motherfucker after they see this movie.
Oh, yeah. The seed has been planted.
Exactly. A lot of niggas going to be running around trying to steal my goddamn name. Nigga, I done took a long time building this motherfucking name. And I ain't even gonna say building because the shit was built. I spent a long time carrying this motherfucking name.
Right.
Like, nigga, I've been Dolemite for a long time and ain't nobody took this motherfucking title off me. Like, nigga, I've been carrying this motherfucker. The title of Dolemite is the essence of a bad motherfucker. And I've been carrying that shit. And the reason that I carried the shit, the reason that I kept the shit, because a lot of niggas like older motherfuckers, like, oh, Rudy Ray Moore was supposedly gay. Mm-hmm. Which is, the rumor with a lot of figures from the 70s. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Because Dolemite is a bad motherfucker. Whatever Rudy Ray Moore's sexual orientation is, I really don't give a shit. I'm a bad motherfucker. That's why I carry the name Dolemite. Like, Dolemite is a bad motherfucker, whether you looking at the created character Dolemite in the movies and in the stories told on stage, because he was a comedian and a music artist as well. But him, Rudy Ray Moore, the man, what he did, I wouldn't give a fuck what he did sexually. What that nigga did as far as building something legendary, you gotta respect that shit. Whether you respect his sexual orientation or not, you got to respect the motherfucking grind. A motherfucker from Arkansas who was able to put out a movie that took over Hollywood. Like, Dolemite, like, it was one of those things where, like, you know how, like, you look at certain bootlegs and you wonder how that shit got to everybody? Mm-hmm. Like, that's how Dolemite was, my nigga. Like, Dolemite was one of those movies that when I seen it, I figured it must have been some shit that only my uncles had. And then you will hear Snoop Dogg say, pimping hoes and clocking the grip like my name was Dolemite. Like, you would hear rappers reference Dolemite. So you like, no, nigga, whoever this motherfucker was, he was on. Like, I would see DVDs and movies back in the day where they would be like, nigga, Dolemite was the godfather of rap. Dolemite started a lot of this rapping and bragging and cussing and all this type of shit that we doing right now. Dolemite and Blowfly. Like, if you know who Blowfly is and you hear the song Rap Dirty, a lot of what you hear in rap music today is credited to Rudy Ray Moore, the character Dolemite, and Blowfly. Like, a lot of what you hearing right now in hip hop came from that. The bravado, the confidence. And that's another thing, like, betting on yourself. Like, it was a lot of pivotal parts in that fucking movie where Dolemite, like, had to basically put all his cards on the fucking table. Like, there was a time where, he had became somewhat of a celebrity on the selling records tip. And he had to basically mortgage his whole catalog in order to get the movie made. And it was, they was like, are you sure you want to do this? Because if you do this and this shit flop, we own your fucking catalog. If you do this and it fucking flop, everything you do from here on out, you practically working for us for free. And he hit their ass with that little jargon like, oh, so basically what you're saying is I'm going to be your slave, like back in the day. And that, come on, man, don't do us like that. But he like, motherfucker, essentially that's what it's going to be. But at the end of the day, I'm going to bet on myself. Like, exactly. Like, nigga, I have the confidence in myself that this shit gon' work. I'm gonna make this motherfucking shit work. So even if I gotta work for you motherfuckers for free, I'm gonna make this shit work. Like, that motherfucker had the utmost of confidence in himself. And again, like I said, even in times where he doubted himself, he had the type of motherfuckers around him who would help pump him up to get him back to the confidence that he had at one point. Right. Because, like, there was a time, like, where after the movie was made, and you see him calling all the movie studios to try to distribute the movie, and you see him sign off that last little, like, fuck, that's it. And that motherfucker in the diner with his partners and they eating and shit, and he just like, fuck it. When you get discouraged and you just like, fuck everybody. But his partners built him up, like, come on, my nigga, you motherfucking Dolemite, my nigga, you can do this shit. Right. And it's like, that's showing, nigga, you got to have the right motherfuckers around you, man. A lot of motherfuckers, they shit don't work because they got dream killers around them. Mm-hmm. Like, a lot of niggas, like, Like I tell niggas a lot, like the reason I don't be fucking with a lot of people, the reason I keep a very small circle is because I don't fuck with the type of niggas who ain't never did shit. I don't fuck with niggas who ain't doing shit. Because them the same type of niggas that'll tell you what you doing ain't gonna work. And that's because they ain't never seen it work before. That's because they ain't never made it work before. That's because they ain't never had a fucking dream before. So, of course, it's only natural, but they gonna kill yours because they ain't got none. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of motherfuckers think shit is fucking easy, so they give you advice based on shit they don't know shit about. And you don't need to be around motherfuckers like that. Like, I only fuck with confident people. I only fuck with optimistic people. I only fuck with people who gonna lift me up and build me up. Because I got enough motherfuckers in the world that's gonna try to knock me down.
Man.
I tell niggas like, you gotta, it's gonna be a million motherfuckers that hate on you. So the least you could do is be around 5 motherfuckers that's gonna help you build your shit up. Like I need the niggas who gonna gas me up sometimes. I need niggas who will literally lie and tell me that they believe in me. Even when shit ain't looking right. Cause you know, like, I tell motherfuckers all the time, I ain't got no haters. If I do, I don't know they hating. And that's enough for me. Just feeling like I got motherfuckers around me that are confident in me helps me to get up out of bed and get my fucking grind on every day. Mm-hmm. Like, nigga, if ain't nobody believing with me, I know my wife believe in me. I know my kids believe in me. I know my partners believe in me. Like, remember, nigga, there was times me and you had conversations where I'm like, man, thanks for still running too much game, even though I know my numbers probably fucked up.
And look at you now.
Nigga, but that's what I'm saying. Remember, nigga, I told you straight up, I know these numbers is probably shit.
And they not.
Yeah, because nigga, like I be looking at my Facebook lives, I be like, nigga, ain't nobody in here but my wife.
And you know, the lives don't matter. At the end of the day, the thing that matters is the numbers of who's listening to the podcast.
Exactly.
This is a podcast. It's not a video show.
Exactly.
You helping them out by seeing you giving them a visual.
Yeah.
The thing that matters is the numbers of the podcast, from Spreaker, from fucking iTunes, Pandora, all that shit.
Yeah.
That's the shit that bring the money in.
Exactly. And nigga, like I tell motherfuckers all the time, like, nigga, like I literally be screenshotting and saving some of the DMs that I get from motherfuckers who I don't know from shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I don't even know these niggas, but these niggas give me more motivation than motherfuckers who know me, because they have no reason to gas me, my nigga. Like, you're a stranger. You've never met me before. I'm not feeding you, financing you, fucking you, none of that shit. You just a nigga who happened to stumble upon my podcast from God knows where. And niggas like, man, you inspired me to do this and all this type of shit. It's like, God, niggas who don't even fucking know me is giving me props like that. Like, that shit is giant, my nigga. Like, niggas don't even know how big that is. And I tell people that shit a lot. Like, if somebody inspires you, tell them. If you see somebody doing something and you like that shit, tell them. You don't know how big of an impact, man, you doing good. Like, you don't know how big that shit is to some motherfuckers. Right. Like, this motherfucker's probably on the verge of quitting right now. Mm-hmm. And all you got to do is tell him, nigga, I see you doing your thing, nigga. That shit dope. And that'll keep motherfuckers going.
Keep them motivated.
Yeah, nigga, like, nigga, a like on Instagram. A comment with a little fire emoji to a nigga freestyle on Instagram. Like, oh yeah, I see that shit, nigga. That shit dope, my nigga.
Because if that person like that, then it's 1,000 other ones too.
Exactly, my nigga. Rolling. Exactly. And that be motivation enough, my nigga. Just sharing your homeboy shit. Like, me and my little cousin just had this conversation. Like, my homeboy Geechee Gotti, my nigga, he super cracking right now in the battle world, my nigga. He like top 5. Yeah. If not number 1 right now. Like, nigga, I was sharing his shit when he first started on some, like, we didn't think he was all that good, but I was still sharing his shit. And like I tell niggas, man, like, that's the shit that motherfuckers remember. Like, that's the shit that when a motherfucker blow up big and they be thanking niggas, you like, what the fuck is this nigga talking about? Mm-hmm. It be the motherfuckers who was there when you was on your in the basement shit and you was just working on, figuring out whether or not you wanted to do the shit. Like how we give props to like Anthony and White Mike and like all the original listeners of the Seriously Not Another podcast on Friday nights at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Like those day one motherfuckers who was always in the message boards, always watching the lives, always sharing, reposting, and liking, the motherfuckers who donate to the Patreon and shit. Like when shit get big and blow up, them niggas is gonna be remembered, my nigga.
They gonna fucking nigga. God willing, inshallah, nigga, that they fuck around and be on the staff or something. Like they grandfathered in.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
Definitely.
Because, you know, I be telling niggas, nigga, like, yeah, you know, every fan is appreciated, but it ain't nothing like them niggas who was fucking with you when you was in the trap.
At all.
Like, it ain't nothing like them motherfuckers who was there when shit was, you know, like I had told you when you first, like, nigga, some of these episodes kind of rough. Nigga, like, when I listen to my shit, like, niggas was still listening to this shit.
Hey, man, because you got to start somewhere.
Exactly.
Nobody start off at level 2.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And when it came to podcasting, like, a majority of people under the umbrella was their first time podcasting.
Yeah, shit, majority.
You feel me? I would say, damn it, I'm
the only nigga who had fucking podcast experience,
yeah.
My nigga.
Right. So, and you know, I always had confidence in everybody, no matter how bad an episode was or what was said about these episodes. I know what each and every these shows are about. Whether if the numbers is bad, that don't matter.
Yeah.
The content and the shit that I see perceives that like that shit is more bigger than the numbers because I know what it'll get to. All it takes is the proper amount of time to where niggas can develop their craft.
Yeah.
Once niggas get there, more people are gonna come and you know we'll handle that where it's at. So
yeah.
You know it was just a matter of time before you know niggas get on and get ghosts. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
Go to that next step.
Yeah, cause shit, nigga, like I was telling my cousin, like nigga, it feel good for niggas to tell me shit that again. Like these niggas don't even know what a podcast is. Oh man, I be seeing your little TV show on Facebook, man, nigga. That shit dope, my nigga. You be saying some real shit on there, my nigga. Like these niggas don't know what the fuck a podcast. These niggas don't know what the fuck I do.
Right.
They just see me on Facebook with sunglasses on, talking into a microphone, so they figure I'm goddamn Trevor Noah or some shit. Right. Like, oh, I seen you on the Tonight Show, nigga. You be having celebrities on there, like nigga. That's enough for me, my nigga. Just the littlest shit, my nigga. The smallest amount of fucking support is big to me. Like a nigga telling me my shit is dope. Oh man, I caught like 5 minutes of it, but my nigga, you was saying some real shit. That's enough, my nigga. Like nigga, I don't need the grandiose, super duper. Oh my God, you're the greatest. You're the next fucking whoop-de-whoop, my nigga. Just good job, my nigga. I heard that shit. That shit was dope. That's enough for me. Because I got 1,000 niggas saying, man, let me get on your podcast. You ever heard it? Nah.
Man, them is the worst niggas.
The fuck?
Nigga, cause you know, I know a bunch of niggas that do music, and they seen like niggas didn't support the podcast till they start seeing it get on big name shits. You know what I'm saying? So once they start,
you on Apple? Right. Oh damn, you on Spotify?
You feel me? And then niggas be like, yo, B. Like, let me come on your podcast. I got this new song.
Yeah,
I said,
man, let me promote my shit on there.
Have you heard my shit? Yeah, I heard like episode 1 to 2. Nigga, I'm in the number
50s,
you
my
feel
nigga.
Me? And it's like, well, what? You didn't take the time, so why should I take the time with you?
Exactly. Like nigga, you gotta sow support to reap support, my nigga. And I tell niggas all the time, like the reason I'm such a supportive nigga, the reason why I buy your trash ass CDs and your ugly ass shit, like nigga, some of your shit garbage, my nigga. But I'm gonna pump it up like it's dope. Yeah. I'm gonna be in Snapchat bumping your shit like, yeah, nigga.
In hopes that it
once that shit over, click, cut that fucking Freddie Gibbs back on, or that motherfucking Sugar Free back on, or that Nipsey back on. But nigga, just to blow your shit up, because I want to see niggas win. Like I tell niggas all the time, nigga, if I know you and you win, I feel like I won even if you don't even mention me. I don't need pictures with you and videos with you, nigga. I don't even need you to share my shit when you get on. Just the fact that you get on makes me happy because a nigga who I knew got on. Yeah. That mean I could get on. And that was motivation enough. I don't need no fucking shout out or none of that shit, my nigga. You ain't gotta fucking wear a 7 Saturday shirt on TV for me to feel proud of you, my nigga. Like, I'm just happy to see a nigga win. You know, so like I tell motherfuckers, man, if you just listen to my shit, it's literally free. All you gotta do, nigga, you could literally go on your Alexa and say, Alexa, play Too Much Game podcast. Alexa, play Cat vs. Dog podcast. Alexa, play No Rules podcast. Alexa, play Seriously Not Another podcast. My shit'll pop up. My niggas on Townhouse Media shit'll pop up. You know, because I'm always gonna support mine, blow mine up, nigga. If I fuck with you, nigga, I'll support your shit. It's niggas who I barely know who shit I share every fucking time. Like, I don't know a lot of niggas who shit you'll see me sharing on Instagram or Facebook or shit that I'll like mention on my show. Nigga, but I'm just a supportive motherfucker because I hope in turn somebody supports me, even if it is a nigga who I don't know, a nigga who I never met. Like, a lot of my bigger fans of the Too Much Game podcast are niggas I don't know. You know, and it feels great, my nigga. Like, I honestly appreciate that shit.
Right.
Another thing which ties into the movie Dolemite. A lot of my listeners, a lot of the people who come to follow the Too Much Game page on Instagram, a lot of motherfuckers who are fans of the Too Much Game podcast are pimps. I'm like, damn, I ain't know I was that, you know, I ain't know I was cracking like that in the pimping community.
Yeah, man, you got the sauce, man.
Yeah, nigga, the RPGO episode, shout out to No Cut the Pimp. You know, big shout out to No Cut. Like, nigga, a lot of pimps follow the show, and like I tell niggas, this ain't really the show for dumbass niggas. Like, it's a compliment for you to tell niggas you listen to the Too Much Game podcast. Because it takes a certain level of game that you got to come into this shit with to even appreciate the motherfucking shit that I'm giving you. You know, like, I was telling my homeboy J-Rock, nigga, because he was trying to give me this book. And he was like, man, I don't want to give this book to everybody. Because, you know, I don't need everybody having this information. And I'm like, my nigga, you could literally get that book to everybody you fucking know. And it's only certain niggas who gonna be able to handle the fucking information in the book.
Right.
You know, like, wisdom travels at a certain altitude. So certain shit gonna go right the fuck over certain niggas' heads. It's only certain niggas who gonna be able to catch this shit. That's how I feel about the Too Much Game podcast. It's a certain level of intelligence you gotta have to even enjoy this shit. Like, it's some niggas who gonna listen to this shit and be like, man, that shit ain't for me. Yeah, dumb niggas. Dumb niggas ain't finna fuck with Too Much Game because they gonna feel like, he talking a gang of shit I can't even really fuck with. A lot of shit niggas can't relate to. Dumb niggas can't relate to Too Much Game. That's the reason it's Too Much Game. It's too much game for dumb niggas. It's just enough game for niggas who got some. If you coming into this shit with some game, you gonna fuck with this shit.
Right.
But if you a dumb nigga, you might be like, he talking too much motivational shit for me, nigga. Oh, you know, I can't really fuck with it. I wanted to laugh. Now go listen to some bullshit then. You know, it's just like lyrical hip hop. You know, certain niggas can't really fuck with a certain level of hip hop. Like, your palate ain't developed enough for certain shit. You know, like I was telling my homeboy, man, like, you can't take certain motherfuckers to certain places. Like, you can't take a hood rat to a Roof Chris. Ain't no chicken nuggets here.
Ain't got no chicken strips.
Yeah, nigga, like, you know, it's certain motherfuckers you can't take certain places because they palate it's not developed enough to understand the shit that you giving them.
Right.
You know, so like I appreciate the audience of Too Much Game because remember I had told you when I first started developing this shit, when I first had the idea, like, certain niggas not even gonna fuck with this shit. I already know. Like, it's a certain level of nigga who fucks with Too Much Game. Like I said, a lot of pimps fuck with Too Much Game because in essence, being a pimp, you got to have game to be a pimp. But certain niggas don't fuck with it because, nigga, they ain't even there mentally. Like, I can't really fuck with this shit. So, like, when you watch a movie like Dolemite, it's a certain mind frame that you gotta have when you watch that shit that you gonna enjoy it. Like I said, like, niggas love that shit because niggas can see the grind that went into that shit. So they fuck with it. But certain motherfuckers, you know, they can't really get it. Like when he was shopping the movie, niggas love that shit. Real niggas in the street, niggas who came from the struggle, niggas who came up in the inner city, niggas who had to live that life, they was loving that shit. But when he gave it to the white executives, they looking at it like, I don't really get it. And that's how I feel about the Too Much Game podcast. Real niggas gonna fuck with this shit. And suck ass niggas gonna be like, what the fuck is he talking about?
What the fuck, bro?
And that's why it's too much game.
Where's the sound effects, bro?
Exactly. I don't hear any fucking dings and bings and fucking, what do you get? You know, all that type of shit. Like, where's the slapstick comedy?
Yeah.
Nigga, this is fucking satire, my nigga. Like, nigga, this ain't fucking chicken McNuggets, my nigga. This is Wagyu.
Hello.
Nigga, this is motherfucking tomahawk, my nigga. Like, nigga, this ain't no fucking this ain't no fucking cat in the hat, my nigga. This is War and Peace. This the art of war, my nigga. You know. But I'm gonna go ahead and drop the mic with that shit. Start off into all these wonderful advertisements and all these shout outs that I like to give at the end of the show.
Yes, sir.
If you would like to support us financially, it is patreon.com/Townhouse Media. Town Eat House Media. Shout out to Warren Gold Clothing at Warren Gold Co. on Instagram. Shout out to Harvey Con Artist on Instagram. CAHNARTIST. Shout out to my homeboy Mr. Shots. MR_SHOTTS on Instagram. Shout out to all the Townhouse Media podcasts. Seriously Not Another Podcast. Friday nights at 9 p.m.
Yes.
No Rules Podcast. Wednesday evenings at 5 p.m. Cat vs. Dog Podcast. Sundays, 3 p.m. For the most part, we be late, so a little after 3, you know. If you're around there at 3, hang out. We'll pop up eventually. And the Too Much Game Podcast, live at 5 p.m. on Sundays. I'll be late than the motherfucker as well. So, you know, if you pull up at 5, I might fuck around and go live on Facebook or something. Nigga, entertain your ass until these goddamn mics come on. But, shit, I think that's it. 7 Saturdays Clothing coming soon, motherfucker. It didn't go nowhere. I just had to take a break. I had some money to make. But anyway, nigga, I'm going to get at you motherfuckers next week. Same bat time, possibly. Definitely the same bat channel. All motherfucking streaming platforms. I ain't here to help you get bitches. I'm here to help you get better. Too much game.